Hello and welcome again to TelecomTV. We are in San Jose in California at ETSI NFV number 11, and I'm with an old friend, Diego Lopez of Telefonica. Diego is Head of Technology Exploration in the Global CTO unit there, and you're also involved heavily in ETSI. So welcome, good to see you again. We meet all over the world all the time.
Yeah, that's part of the
fun,
isn't
it? Isn't it? So let's begin by asking you this. What about open source implementation and that kind of area within NFV? We're seeing many changes. We're seeing ETSI and the ISG is on one side. There are certainly overlaps with open source organizations as well. How is that working, and what about the implementation?
Well, frankly, recently we had a discussion on this, and I am of the opinion that all in all, open source is another way of making standards. Probably the process is a little bit different, but at the end what you're building is something that is a reference for others to build something that is compatible or able to work with.
Yeah.
It's different because you are based more than on consensus, you're based more on showing that something works, but it's as well dependent very much on how much effort you can dedicate and how strong you are with your arguments. So I don't think that there is an essential contradiction among them, though it's true that in some cases, well, the people that are mostly dedicated to standards have I guess they have the feeling that the open source projects are running too fast. And they have something that is important as well, as this, let's call it a coolness factor, because now the cool thing to do is open source and not necessarily standards. But all in all, I would say that my knowledge of the people that are working in open source mostly and people that are mostly dedicated to open standards are essentially the same people with the very similar goals, very similar problems. And we are going I would say, the right direction. In that respect, there is a very close cooperation between OP-NFV and the NFV, ETSI NFV community on the one hand, and there are several projects connected with that. We have in OpenStack, we have a special interest group on NFV recently that, for example, have come with a piece of the orchestration stack for NFV that is called Tucker. There are projects ongoing in Open Daylight, and we have started an open source effort as well with a full Mano orchestration stack for NFV. That is intended to address the concerns we had when it came to guaranteeing performance and a good integration with the platform, and simplifying a little bit the additional elements that you have in OpenStack and that are not needed for orchestration NFV. So that's called Open Mano, which is, we are not very original with the name, let's confess, but it was not taken, so we went for it. And so far we have this deployed in our labs, and we are trying to build a community of users as well around it, and try to align with other efforts like OpenStack or OP-NFV.
Thank you. Moving on to the apps side of things, Diego, if we could. Obviously, security is a big issue. Can we address that first? What's happening there?
Well, the security group is quite curious because the security group inside NFV started as a very, very small close club, so to say, of the selected experts on security. And mostly people were much more excited about the software architecture, the orchestration aspects and all the like. But the concerns about security and the relevance of security to satisfy, for example, regulatory issues, and to satisfy a minimum degree of reliability on the infrastructure is gaining more and more momentum. I just come from the security working group meeting. And I would say that since the Okinawa, for example, that was NFV's 8, right? We have doubled the participation, really? And there are more work items. People, and people is very, very, very seriously taking very seriously security. And one of the things that are right now more relevant, because it is the first aspect that has gained the attention of the regulatory bodies, is precisely lawful interception. How you guarantee that the collection of data that you do after a lawful requirement is correct to be used as an evidence. because when you're moving into a virtualized space, the guarantee of which is the chain of custody, it's called, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it was directly translated from Spanish,
yes.
so I was not sure. That you can guarantee that the chain of custody is kept in a virtual environment is challenging. And we are discussing on this because we are under the belief that if we cannot solve this, we can get NFV partly or totally out-regulated. And this would be really an issue.
Certainly would.
Yeah,
very difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah, no, but this is something that I have come and there are some interesting suggestions about how to place trustworthy elements in different places, how to guarantee the independence between the orchestration stack and how you manage the interception, etc. So, well, I'm confident that we will find solutions that will be acceptable for everyone without breaking the concepts behind the virtualization.
Good. Now, staying on the apps front, for one more question, what about 5G and the 5G networks and the initiatives that are going on there?
Well, there is something that we have, there is a common understanding worldwide that the application of software networks will be essential for making 5G a reality. Originally, I know that 1 year ago or so, 2 years ago, when I heard about 5G, it was a problem of radio spectrum and how you manage to connect much more devices and much higher speeds. But there has been a realization that you have to change the architecture of the network and you have to change how networks are deployed, operated, managed, etc. And that the only way you can do that is up to the complexity that 5G implies is precisely by using software models and by using the principles behind NFV to guarantee flexibility, scalability, elasticity, etc. So we are right now, recently the European Commission announced the results of the first call for research projects, 5G spear research, under the 5G PPP, which is the European Research Initiative. And we are, right now, we are in, if I remember well, 6 projects that are related to the application of these technologies into the core and edge 5G networks.
Thank you. The areas we've been covering up to now, Diego, very ETSI biased. I'd like you just to think with a Telefonica hat on for the last question, which is, how do you think NFV is going to improve service agility?
Well, I think that would be allow us to become much more closer to what our customers expect in these days, because it's true that in general the telco sector has been I would say anything but fast in reacting to direct requirements from the customers. And we're starting to realize that it's something that you have to do. You have to be as fast as possible, and that means reducing the time for first delivering services and second providing the service to the customers, for months for delivery of the whole service, and days in the best case when talking about the provisioning, to just minutes or seconds. And that would be the famous monetization, probably would come directly from that, from just in time, not real time, because real time can be a little bit tricky word, but precisely dealing with just in time service provisioning. And we are making some experiments on this. We are running a platform, currently it's very much oriented to security. I mean, to security services, not to security of the infrastructure, because we have found that the demand for advanced security services is high among the people is concerned about their privacy, the protection of the kids, the protection of their data. And we have found that precisely providing on-demand, just-in-time, personalized security services could have or would constitute a good market opportunity, and we're making some experiments in that direction, based for sure in NFV, because what we do is that we use virtualized security services running in our infrastructure.
Diego Lopez, thanks as usual. Hopefully, if we don't meet before, we'll meet in Germany, in Dusseldorf in October.
Yeah, definitely.
See you then, if not before. Thank you.